What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's raising a farm, growing a garden, and cooking a home-cooked meal. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
Oh, I'm so happy. It is freezing. It's like, what, are we at 19 degrees now out here? 15 degrees? Absolutely brutal hunt, but worked out perfect. I self-filmed it, and I'm just so happy to be tagged out. It's been just a couple of days that the season opened, and I've been hunting really hard. I actually hunted Kansas 12 days in a row before I came here, and so I was really hoping to have some luck, and we made it happen this morning.
If there's an ultimate place to hunt mule deer, then it's in Lindrith, New Mexico with H&H Private Land Hunts. Coy and Katrina Davis own thousands and thousands of acres of some of the best hunting ground in the West in an area that's known for producing monster mule deer, and their track record proves just that. Well, it is day one here in New Mexico, and we are getting ready to head out with Coy. He's going to drop us off on one of these properties he's got to meet up with our guide, Greg, and we are going to take off on foot and see if we can't try and locate some deer. We've got chilly temps that moved in overnight, and all we need is a little luck. As the sun starts coming up, we've got elk bugling all around us, and it's not long before Greg spots a big group of deer. Start moving in closer on these deer, hoping that we can get a better look to see if maybe there's a shooter in the group. once we were able to move in closer on these deer and get a better look at them, I asked my guide, Greg, do you think any of these deer are worth pursuing? And he really didn't think that any of them were big enough or what I was looking for.
This segment's been brought to you by Blackbriar, specializing in weapons manufacturing, design, and modification. Veteran-owned and operated. Learn more at blackbriarnv.com. And by Zinnick.
Range 54 is located at 5725 East Kellogg Drive in Wichita, Kansas. We offer a huge selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns. We also offer the very best in targeting systems and training facilities anywhere in the state. Our classes include a women's basic pistol class taught by women. Our mission is to develop responsible gun owners by providing ongoing training in a dynamic and safe venue. Stop by and see us today or check us out online at range54.com.
At Blackbriar, we offer the most reliable, customized firearms available. We take the time to understand your mission requirements, offer suggestions, and determine your maintenance and training needs. Blackbriar is different from other manufacturers because we don't want to just sell weapons and weapons accessories. Our commitment doesn't end after the sales transaction is complete. At Blackbriar, your mission will become our mission. Learn more at blackbriarnv.com.
This segment's brought to you by Countryside Motors in Wellington, your local Chevrolet, Hustler, and Polaris dealer. And by Mr. Heater.
Now we saw plenty of deer our first morning, just nothing we were looking for, so we headed back to the truck to come up with a game plan.
This morning, the reason why we didn't go on some particular ranches, we know we got some big bucks in there, and we had swirling wind this morning, so we took our chance on a couple of different ranches. This evening, we're probably going to have a dominant wind out of the west, which will give us a better opportunity to put a sneak on them with wind coming from just one direction.
Now the property that Coy's been talking about, the Hatchet Ranch, is just loaded with big bucks. But there's one buck in particular that I have been begging him to let me go after.
Yeah, I got a buck that we've been seeing on the Hatchet Ranch, which is a pretty famous ranch here in northern New Mexico. And the governor tag's got him estimated at about 225 to 230 inches. And then I have another typical in there that's probably 38 inches wide and anywhere from 200 to 208 inches is what I got them estimated at. And we've seen, I think, 11 to 12 bucks that'll bust 170 inches or better.
That's what we're trying to get our hands on.
And so now we're gonna go and do a little bit more scouting and look around in a few more spots, check some tracks, and then we're gonna make an early pursuit to the Hatchet Ranch and get set up in a ground blind with a guide, and then I'll have 2 spotters covering other areas of the ranch. If we see them and we think we could get on them in time, we'll pursue them. But the deal is with the spotters, at least they'll spot them and it'll give us a good idea to pursue them in the morning.
We headed back to camp to grab a quick lunch, and then we were headed over to the Hatchet Ranch to do some spotting before our evening hunt.
There's some deer right there in the corner of the plot. They're just coming out.
In that weed? Are they talking about that weed out there?
Yeah, right there at the corner of 42 shot. Right at the brush line where we just brush hogged, you'll see the road. There's 2 deer that just came out.
Diego spots some deer coming out of the timber, headed towards the field that we had planned to set up for our evening hunt. We were really far away though, so it was really hard to tell what they were, but one of them definitely looked like a buck. So we decided let's let them bed down and then we will creep back in there this evening and hopefully we can catch them coming out to feed before dark. Once we got set up in the blind, we knew our winds were going to be swirling. Anytime you're down in these valleys, the winds can just change on you like that. So we were trying everything we could to mask our scent. We were using cedar and sage and just kind of rubbing it all over ourselves throughout the day, just trying to mask any scent that we possibly could.
We saw a ton of muleys this morning, a bunch of does, and about 8 or 9 nice bucks, but nothing big enough. So we're out here. We're going to set up in a ground blind right now. We're going to see if we can't get him to come up over this ridge. We've got some guides out that way and another hunter that is hunting for some elk. So we're hoping they're going to come this way and that we're going to put the smack down on them. We've actually got a little bit of weed out here in front of us, and we've got Greg out here with us tonight. He's our awesome guide. We're here with H&H Private Land Hunts. Hoping to get a muley tonight.
As the sun started to slowly go down over the side of this ridge, it had shaded the entire field and deer just started pouring in. I just so happened to look up and suddenly we've got a buck standing 50 yards from our blind looking right at us. You know, he's got some great height to him, but once I really get a good look at him, I realize he's pretty young and he's just not really as big of a buck as I'm looking for. Looks like it's going to be this guy's lucky day.
This segment's brought to you by Evolution Outdoor. Learn more at evolutionoutdoordesign.com. And by Nose Jammer.
Come on out to the country. Countryside Motors in Wellington. We're the largest Chevy, Buick, Polaris, and Hustler dealer in the area. Come on out to the country for low pressure and low prices. Check out our inventory online at countrysidemotors.net. We've got it all. Cars, trucks, and SUVs, new and used, ATVs, side-by-sides, and industry-leading Hustler mowers. We also offer certified service for all brands we carry. Come on out to the country. Countryside Motors in Wellington.
We buy used sports equipment. Right now, we'll pick up your exercise equipment and pay you on the spot. We're buying treadmills, ellipticals. We're buying stationary bikes and weights. Call us now at 729-0300 for a quote. We'll come to you, pick it up, and pay you right on the spot. Play It Again Sports at the corner of Central and Tyler.
Play it again, sports!
This segment has been brought to you by Tall Tines Taxidermy and by Bow Dagger, standing up for your bow.
The scenery here in New Mexico is absolutely beautiful, but the amount of wildlife that we saw throughout the week was really what was incredible. But of course, one of the things that caught my eye was the amount of jackrabbits. In Oklahoma, where I'm from, it is really rare to see a jackrabbit. I could probably count on one hand the total number of jackrabbits I've ever seen, but New Mexico is just absolutely flooded with them. I had been telling the guides that, hey, I really want to shoot a jackrabbit, and the deer activity that morning had started to really wind down. It was about 10:30, and lo and behold, there's a jackrabbit just sitting there, waiting, asking for it. He gone. Got my first jackrabbit. I really wanted to have a jackalope made, but I think they were kind of making fun of me about that.
Can I have that mounted into a jackalope mount? I'm being serious. How much is a jackalope mount?
I decided not to make a jackalope mount.
Tell us about what just happened there.
It's our little recovery arrow. We just smoked us a jackrabbit. Out here looking for world-class mule deer, and I'm more excited about the jackrabbit right now. No, just kidding. We're gonna get back to mule deer hunting.
Our plan for the afternoon was to head back over to the Hatchet Ranch in hopes of spotting a buck. Hours glassing until I finally spot a buck, and he's a good buck. Down to the other side of this ridge, close to where we had spotted this buck and start hiking our way up. Coy and Carlos decided they would go ahead of Josh and I to see if they could get a visual on this buck and see what was going to be the best way to approach him. Once we make it up to our guys, we've got visual on this buck, and he's in the exact same spot he was when we first spotted him. But before we could even make a move, he heads back into the timber to go bed down. We pull out and head back to the truck to see if we can come up with another game plan.
This segment has been brought to you by Mr. Heater, and by Carbon Express Arrows.
If you're looking to buy or sell that perfect piece of land, contact the Jeff Blueball Real Estate Team with Keller Williams Hometown Partners. Whether it's just tillable farm ground, a riverway, or hunting ground in an area for producing monster whitetails, we can find the property to fit your outdoor needs. Visit their website today to sign up for the hot property leads at jeffblueball.com or contact him directly at 316-640-0656. Kansas Wildlife Management is about improving the overall health and happiness of our wildlife. We offer services specialized to meet each customer's needs, including wetland restoration, habitat management, food plots, game camera monitoring, stand and tower installation, controlled burns, and much more. For a professional assessment, contact Joel Morris with Kansas Wildlife Management at 316-706-9587.
Come on out to the country. Countryside Motors in Wellington. We're the largest Chevy, Buick, Polaris, and Hustler dealer in the area. Come on out to the country for low pressure and low prices. Check out our inventory online at countrysidemotors.net. We've got it all. Cars, trucks, and SUVs, new and used, ATVs, side-by-sides, and industry-leading Hustler mowers. We also offer certified service for all brands we carry. Come on out to the country. Countryside Motors in Wellington.
Range 54 is located at 5725 East Kellogg Drive in Wichita, Kansas. We offer a huge selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns. We also offer the very best in targeting systems and training facilities anywhere in the state. Our classes include a women's basic pistol class taught by women. Our mission is to develop responsible gun owners by providing ongoing training in a dynamic and safe venue. Stop by and see us today or check us out online at range54.com.
This segment is brought to you by Vanguard. Cutting-edge products made for your hunt. And by Muck Boot Company.
Well, it's our last morning here in New Mexico, and we're supposed to be on flights headed home right now. But we decided we would miss the flights and have one more day of hunting in hopes that we can make it happen. Right off the bat this morning, I spot a great buck eating on some sage down in this valley, and he's got another smaller buck with him. We are way too far to try and hike our way towards this buck, so we jump in the truck and head down this ridge towards this valley where we had seen this buck. We end up having to drive right past these bucks in the truck so that we can get on the other side of this other ridge, and that way we can approach them downwind.
Once we get out of the truck and start heading up this other ridge, we realize there's no way of approaching these bucks without belly crawling. Our guide Carlos is trying everything in his power to get me closer to these deer, and we make it up about 10 more yards, so we're about 50 yards from these bucks, and our wind is still in our favor, and I finally get a good look at this buck. His antlers were still stained red. He had just shed velvet. He was an absolutely gorgeous buck and exactly what I came here for. We crawl up another 20 yards closer to this deer, and just as I'm about to stand up and draw back my bow, the wind started swirling. Carlos could feel it hit him in the back of the neck. He kind of looks at me and looks back at the deer, and he knows right away that this deer winded us. So we all kind of stand up to get a look, and this deer is already taken off. It was one of the absolute worst feelings I've ever had. We were so close to making a shot on this buck. We had worked our butts off on this trip, and to have it go down just like that, 2 more steps and I would have had the most perfect 30-yard shot on a muley. Unfortunately, I wasn't successful on my first mule deer hunt, but Coy, Katrina, and all the guides really made this one of the best weeks of hunting I'd ever experienced. They treated us like family and did everything in their power to try to get us on a good deer. I would highly recommend H&H Private Land Hunts to anyone that wants to shoot a good mule deer or a good elk. I mean, they have amazing track records. They have shot some absolutely monster deer and monster elk, and the hospitality is just top of the line.